Sounds good. And if, by the way, if you send me messages, I cannot look at any messages. Oh, great. I'm glad to hear that. If you send us messages, I can't look at them. So everybody that watches our live feed, please don't send me messages on Messenger or anything like that because I cannot look at them. And they also might affect our feed as well.
Right.
They might interrupt it or slow it down or do something to it. So for Rickster forgot his brain. Yeah.
Oh, that won't be the first time I forgot that.
That won't be the first time, right?
That's definitely true.
So I think we've waited long enough. Let's go ahead and get started. So, hey everybody, welcome. Yesterday we had a great time during our live Disneyland stream. It was raining, which was an interesting treat.
Yes, it was.
And I had never been at Disneyland when it rained that much. Have you?
That's true. Yeah, no, not in a long time.
So that sure as heck wasn't. It was fun. But it was okay.
It wasn't too wet, but it was so fun. We had a lot of fun, especially when we were on the riverboat.
Yeah, and I did get up and near the end. You guys probably didn't catch it, but I said, "I'm the king of the world." So.
Well, he still thinks that.
No. Come on, don't tell everybody my secrets. No, I'm not the king of the world. Yeah.
No, well, that's Elvis Presley.
Maybe you, yeah, right? Elvis is the king. Yeah, let Elvis Presley take that. So today we're going to talk about Star Wars, the Clone Wars, the Bad Batch.
That's right.
Which we finally are getting Season 7, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And let's go ahead and, since we're going to go ahead and start the show, we'll go ahead and roll the intro because I want to record all this for our audio version of our podcast. So look, we're going to go ahead and roll it in now. Let me go ahead and roll it up. Here we go. Sorry.
Wow, that was
I don't know why it's not starting. Start.
The following feature presentation is part of the All for Sci-Fi Podcast Network.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
I'm sorry, Dave.
If you only knew the power
Obi-Wan.
of Darkseid.
If you only knew.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough.
He told me you killed him.
He told me you killed him.
No.
I am your father.
I'll be back.
No, I will be back.
there he was.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yo!
It's a trap!
It's a trap, everybody! Woo! Oh, that's great.
Needs of the many outweigh
Love cosplayers.
The needs
The
of the
needs
few.
of the few.
for the
For
one.
the one.
Do
Do
or do not.
or do not.
There is no try.
There is no try. Can't do that. I try. That's great, Dave. You do cosplay. I know you do. I remember. You do
Obi-Wan.
You do Obi? No, he does Obi-Wan too?
Yeah, he does Obi-Wan.
Okay, I know you did Jango Fett.
Ooh,
So yeah, that's it, guys. Hey, everybody. Let me put my so I could hear myself recorded.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, here we go. We're
we
getting
go.
ready to
Here
start.
we go again. Oh my goodness.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the All for Sci-Fi. Let's wait until he's done coughing. You done?
I'm good done.
Okay.
I'm good now.
Hey everybody, welcome to the allforscifi.com podcast. Today is February 23rd, it's Sunday, and we're recording this live in Woodland Hills, California. This is Season 2, what episode are we on? Dun, 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 dun. I believe we're on episode 5. Already, where is the year going?
5?
Yeah,
Okay, well, okay, 5.
wonderful.
I won't dispute that.
Yeah, well, you got to think about it. Let's see, undercover water. One of the Star Treks. 1 week it was only Star Trek. Another week it was Birds of Prey, right?
Yep.
And then last week was Star Trek again.
Yep.
And here we are. But this week, this week we get to do Star Wars Clone Wars. This is hold on a second.
Season number 7.
We're gonna do this over again, guys, because I had the microphone turned down, so I wasn't recording anything on the mixer here. Oh boy! Technical difficulties. Ding, 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 ding. Hit me in the head. Hit me, Captain Richter.
I don't have anything.
Hit me. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, let's start this again. Now that we're recording, you do that clap so that you can sync up the audio later.
Okay, good.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the All for Sci-Fi podcast. I'm Eric Walker, and sitting next to me is
Captain Richter.
And welcome everybody to this lovely Sunday edition. Today is February 23rd, and this is being recorded in Woodland Hills, California. Yay! And this is we're on season 2 of All for Sci-Fi podcast, and this is episode 5, everybody.
Yep.
So thank you guys for joining us. We got a lot to talk about this week. This week we're going to do Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and also we're going to talk again about Star Trek Picard had episode. Speaking of that, our season's episode is episode 5, and we're going to talk about Picard episode 5.
That's
so
right.
we're in sync with Picard. How about that one?
That's unusual. And
Yeah.
And just think, too, this is the last Sunday of the month, too.
It sure is, and this year we have a leap year as well. So we actually have an extra day. Captain Richter, if you have a leap year and you're born on the 29th this year, does that mean you have a birthday every 4 years?
That's right.
Or do you just so every 4 years you only turn a year old?
That's right.
So after 40 years you would be how old? Let's see how good he is at math, everybody.
10.
Is that correct? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Captain Richter's better at math than I am, that's for sure.
Sometimes.
Okay, let's go back to also this podcast. As we're recording, we're actually broadcasting live on YouTube, so all of our YouTube followers could actually get a behind-the-scenes look at how we record these audio podcasts. So let's go over to the YouTube folks and see what they got to say. Let me see here. Virginia's here. Hey, Steve Spoltor,
Yes,
welcome. Hey, Steve, how are you?
Ooh. That's quite a bit of money there, Steve.
Wow.
Or Dave.
Dave. Hey, I would spend that kind of money on Dave. They're today on the YouTube. They're talking about the spending money on Star Wars toys, like Star Wars: The Clone Wars and Star Wars Black Series. Mm-hmm. And Dave Staggs, who's live on YouTube, was just saying he spent a bunch of money on a Friday night sale. And I've spent a lot of money on the Black Series. If you look, if you can't see us on the podcast, but on YouTube, I got a lot of Black Series there, and I have a big hole in my Black Series. There's like over 100 figures, and I have around 45 or 50 figures.
Something like that.
So I got a ways to go before, and I'm glad I'm making a list so I don't keep getting duplicates.
That's true.
So, but let's go ahead and make our announcement since we're talking about Friday night sales. All4sci-fi.com is proud to be sponsored by Order 66 Toys. And Order 66 Toys is the nation's largest Star Wars only toy store. It's outside of Dallas, Texas. So if you're ever in the Dallas area or somewhere in the suburbs near there, if in Fort Worth or somewhere else, if you're in Garland or even Waco, which sometimes it sounds like wacko. If you're ever in the area of Dallas, stop by, say hi to the Order 66 toy store in Fairview Station, and hey, shout out to our friends there. Hey Bobby, hey Josh, who's the owner, hey Tim, the manager, Heather, the bantress, and Gingy and Mike, and we say hello. We love you guys. Thank you guys for helping sponsor all4sci-fi.com, and they're exclusively on Facebook. So to find them, I recommend everybody go on Facebook, search out Order 66 Toys, and follow their toy page there on Facebook, because every Friday night, that's what we were just talking about in the chat, every Friday night they have some of the best toys. It's Star Wars only, so it's awesome. Yes. And they had a vintage sale Friday night.
Yes, they did.
Which was great. And Mr. Dominic Pace, a good friend of the show, and we have an interview coming up here in the next few weeks with him, which we did when we were in Dallas. Mr. Dominic Pace, who plays Gecko, the bounty hunter on The Mandalorian, was there. and he was on the show. So shout out as well to Mr. Dominic Pace. Also, all4sci-fi.com is proud to be a part of the community of Star Wars collectors. Mr. Steve Spoltor, our leader, and that's a great community on Facebook. It's like one of the largest Star Wars communities. It's a group. So if you go on Facebook and search groups, search the community of Star Wars collectors, join it, because it's all about community, family, giving back, which I think is what Star Wars should be about. And we love you guys at the CSWC. That's the acronym. So community of Star Wars collectors, if you're searching for it, join the group. It's a great group. You'll love everything as well. Look at this. I got this when we were at and I shared this already, but I am really still in love with this Yoda.
The Jedi uses the Force for knowledge and defense. Never attack.
Never. Jedi uses the Force for knowledge. Never attacks. Yoda.
800 years have I trained Jedi.
For 800 years have I trained Jedi, he said. So I love this. It looks real. It scared my wife, though. She was scared when she saw this.
Beware of the dark side. Anger, fear, aggression.
Anger,
The dark
fear.
side of the Force are they.
Yeah. Anger, fear, aggression is the dark side of the Force. You're so correct. You're so correct, Master Yoda. Anyway, so done playing with my toys as usual.
No, after the show's over, if you go back and play some more.
Yeah, probably, right? So and also, well, so again, thank you guys out there at the CSWC. And one more announcement. We have to remind everybody, this weekend we're going to be in Florida. We're going to be in Pensacola, Florida, at Pensacon, which is the big convention there in Florida. And we're going to be streaming live for our live trivia game on Saturday at the same time. And also we're going to be doing our podcast as well from the convention floor. So we're still going to be doing our podcast and review show at Pensacon on Sunday as well at 2. So everybody get ready, because it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be walking around showing you all the stuff. I'm really into looking to see how many vendors are going to have Baby Yoda merchandise, like the child stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot there, but a lot's coming out here soon as well. Speaking about announcements, they just had a toy fair, and they were showing the child, the animatronic one, where he was like going, and it was moving around. Did you guys see that? I know I don't look like the child. That child's really cute.
But you sound like him.
And they
especially when he doesn't get his way.
when I don't get my way. Yeah, it's the big toy fair just happened, and they made a bunch of great announcements and all these new Black Series, like this. We're gonna get a snow speeder 6-inch Black Series.
Cool.
From for the Empire Strikes Back's anniversary. That's gonna be great. And it's gonna be it was showing all the Baby Yoda. I don't like calling him Baby Yoda. I like calling him the child though. But so I say Baby Yoda, so you know, guys know what I'm talking about. So, yeah.
She's just to paint your face.
Yeah, just
green.
paint my face green. Thanks, Virginia.
That's what he sounds like.
Yeah. Use the magic hand, baby. Hey, baby, come on. Use the magic hand. Use the magic hand. Well, this isn't a baby, right?
No. That's his grandfather.
Yeah. Or it might be some people thought it was a clone, but they actually addressed that in the show. They said that it was not Quill, that character looked at the child, and in the episode where he came back to get Quill to help him to watch out for the child right before the end. I think it was episode 6 or 7.
Right.
And Quill made a comment about how he wasn't a clone, the child.
Right.
And he looked over at Cara Dune and said, "But you look like a clone, like one of the worst clones I've ever seen," which is crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't understand what you're talking about, Virginia. So, but yeah, you have to say it again. Coming back to YouTube, Virginia's doing a lot. She's chatting it up today, but She wants me to show Captain Rickster something, and I don't know what she's talking about.
Right here.
Oh.
She wanted me to show it to you.
Oh, the Build-A-Bear. Okay. Build-A-Bear employee. How can I help you? Me. I've come for the child. The child could come with me either hot or cold.
Ooh.
It's the child's choice. So, yeah, that is cute. So, yeah, last week Dave, you're funny. Actually yesterday, not last week, but yesterday, the trivia prize was this wonderful Echo Base Squadron. And the winner of this was Allison. So congratulations, Allison Whitaker. And got her name drawn out of the hat because she answered the question correctly. We had three of them in there this week that answered it correctly. And this is being sent to her next week. It's a wonderful pin. And she says, great, she's a sucker for pins. But it says Echo Base Rogue Squadron. It's really, really, really cute pin. So we're not going to stop, guys. We're not going to stop. So even though we're going to be in Florida, I just want to remind everybody, we're still doing the live stream trivia game. So make sure you're there watching us next week from the showroom floor. We'll be walking around and maybe we'll have some child stuff and I can act stupid again and go, or something. But yeah, we'll still be doing it, and we'll think of some trivia from the local area. I'll look up some stuff about Pensacola, maybe some trivia too about the convention, when it started, when Pensacola, how many people come to it, and stuff like that. So we'll ask stuff about the convention as well as the local area, and then somebody will win a gift. It still will be a gift from Galaxy's Edge, because that's the whole thing. We want to give 52 gifts this year from Galaxy's Edge for you guys. And then Sunday, we'll be here again Sunday for our regular podcast and recording that as well from the showroom floor. Let's go back. Let's really quickly. We're going to do some more news announcements, but let's go ahead and look down, see what's going on with YouTube. Go ahead and what's going on YouTube? What are they talking about, Captain Rickster?
Dave and Virginia are both going at it right at the moment.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
What's going on?
It says, well, someone in the relationship Dave needs to talk. I say originally, that's twice she's won over me. And then that's just
well, let's
when
not.
you do that because you're not green.
Not green, huh?
You're not green, huh? Well,
Who's
yeah.
Yoda?
What can we say? Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So,
true.
We'll go from there, see what's up.
What did I do with my paperwork?
I have no idea.
I thought I printed something to share with everybody.
I thought you did too.
I was looking for it. I
you
can't
did.
seem to find it. Okay, that's okay. I don't need it.
No, he knows everything by heart.
No, I don't.
Come on, he's an actor.
I'm an actor, and I could definitely go ahead and
Oh, sorry
make
about
my
that,
way
Dave.
around it.
You barely hear me?
Well, yeah, Captain Rickster doesn't know how to speak up. He's not the actor in the group.
That's definitely true. I'm the sidekick.
Yeah, so he's over here, and the mic was probably placed in a spot where everybody could hear him, but then it was too loud for Virginia, so I moved it.
That's right.
So let me move the mic down a little bit closer. Maybe we can compensate so we could hear Captain Rickster a little bit better.
We'll see. Because I wasn't reading it very loud. I didn't think you wanted to know your guys' business. Yet, so.
Yeah, no, well, I didn't know you were going to do that, Captain Rickster, otherwise I would have stopped you. Yeah, I'm going to edit that out, guys, of our podcast. Okay, let's get back to the podcast. And let me see who. Hey, Rylan, you're here. Hi, buddy. What's going on? How are you guys doing out there? How's your son and everything?
Virginia's making it funny.
Baby Yoda has less hair than me.
And me.
Yeah, and Captain Rickster as well. So, unfortunately, I got that from my mama, as well as the weight issue. Yeah, so...
I got mine from my dad.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get much from my dad, Sorry, Dad. I look exactly like... I could think I look a little bit like my dad. But, yeah, my mom had blue eyes, and sometimes they were hazel. I do not have blue eyes, by the way, everybody. My eyes are green. So my eyes are green, so I have very unique eyes. And I got all my uncles on my mom's side of the family had no hair, and also were obese. They're all very, very fat. So I got that from her side of the family, and she had a whole host of related issues as well. Which thank God I didn't get that. Like I don't have diabetes, and I don't have all that other stuff. So
that's great.
Yeah. So which it's okay. Okay, yeah, so yeah, you're doing great. Good to hear that, Rylan. Thank you guys for joining us. Let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about the news coming out this week. There's a lot of people were in an uproar, and this is from a few weeks ago. But don't worry, everybody. The Obi-Wan Kenobi series is still, Deborah Chow is still doing it. It's still coming. They're just putting it on hold while they work on the scripts and everything like that. So that's good news. I also heard a rumor about Lucasfilm, and I don't know if that's true, about that there's a bunch of fighting going on, like infighting between Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau.
Really?
They're fighting with Kathleen Kennedy. I heard. I don't know if the rumors are true or not. Perpetuate rumors, but I heard that she got banned from the Mandalorian set.
Well, that's good.
So I don't know if that's true or not.
She doesn't need to be there.
Yep. Yeah.
Let those guys do their magic.
Yeah, no, you gotta let they're doing a great job. Yeah, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, you guys are doing a great job on The Mandalorian.
Yeah, really.
We're excited to see Season 2. And that Season 2, again, we announced, is coming a month earlier than we thought. So it's coming in October.
Yep, that's right.
Right. Yeah. So... the Kathleen just needs to work on the business side over there and let them do it. I agree with you, Mr. Dave Staggs.
I do too.
Let artists be creative, but don't let them pull a Ryan Johnson.
That's definitely true. Yeah.
So, or who knows what happened amongst that? Because in the beginning they were talking about how great The Last Jedi was. Remember when even J.J. Abrams was saying he read the script for The Last Jedi, and he wished he was directing it.
Right.
And then look at what we got for The Last Jedi. So it makes me wonder, did she come in there and chop a whole bunch of stuff up, or?
I'm wondering about that myself now.
Because I like Ryan Johnson's other works. I like his other movies. I like he's a very good director, and so who knows? You never know. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with this week's show. Today we're going to talk about Star Wars: The Clone Wars. This is we finally get Season 7. Finally, it's here. They saved it. And if that was I don't know if that was Dave Filoni doing it. Thank you, Kathleen Kennedy. If it was you as well, you never know who's doing what behind the scenes, right?
That's definitely true.
So you can't put the blame on there. Politics in the entertainment industry is equally as annoying as politics in real life.
That's definitely true.
And I don't like discussing them, and that's not what the show's here for. So let's talk about Star Wars: Clone Wars, The Bad Batch. Wow. Oh. Thank you.
Yes, it was very good. Actually, it was really excellent.
It was a very, very good show. I was very happy. The Bad Batch is about the cloners. They call them the 99s.
Yep.
And before we get into the actual review and discussion, let's go ahead and give a rating. So we let everybody know what we're going to rate this episode. At All for Sci-Fi, we have a 0 to 5-star rating. 5, of course, is the best. If you have 3 or less, then we say don't stream it, don't watch it. It's not any good. So we don't recommend it if it's 3 or any less. Clone Wars Season 7, The Bad Batch, gets 4.75 stars is my rating out of 5 stars. 4.75. What do you give it?
I'll agree with you on this. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Even for a little 30-minute short movie, it was pretty cool.
It was too short.
Yeah, definitely too short.
Yes. And coming onto our YouTube chat, Dave Spoltor just said the same thing. I wish since it was the premiere, I wish it was an hour long.
Right.
Totally agree with you, Steve.
Yeah.
Totally agree with you. I'm terrible with names, though. You guys got to forgive me.
That's true.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wish it was at least an hour. Since it's a premiere. I wish all these were an hour long. I know they're cartoons, so maybe they're for budgeting reasons. There's a reason why they're a half hour and not an hour like The Mandalorian or live action stuff. But I think it would be better if they were, an hour long.
True.
So the Bad Batch, basically, the war's not. We're gonna have some spoilers here. So anybody that hasn't seen this episode, listen if you want, but know we're gonna talk about it. If not, then come back in about 10 minutes and see what we're talking about at that point. Because then we'll be talking about Star Trek Picard at that point.
Right.
Okay. The Bad Batch. The war's not going very well, and it starts off with Mace Windu. And Anakin Skywalker, they're discussing what's going on with the war, and they're trying to figure out why the
droids.
They're called something else. The Roger people, Roger battle droids. They're trying to figure out why they are being able to counter and figure out what their battle plans are. And no matter what they do, they seem to it works for a little bit, and then suddenly the next time they do it, it doesn't work. They're able to adapt and suddenly figure out what they're doing, and they need to figure out a way. Otherwise, they're going to lose the war. They're going to lose an Axis, and that's it. They're having a lot of issues with the Anaxis campaign. And they're discussing that they have a certain idea. Cody and them have a certain idea of what to do differently, and they bring in the Bad Batch to basically go and help them steal something back. They need to bring back MT. That would be nice, Virginia. Thanks for saying that. I appreciate it. So they're having issues, and so they bring in the Bad Batch, the 99ers. They're followed by the tech guy who does everything technical. What was the other guy's name? The one that's like you was it Deadshot or
No.
Crosshair.
Yeah.
Another guy's name's Crosshair, and that Crosshair guy reminds me of Captain Rickster because he's an ace shot.
That's true.
Sharpshooter there. And then you have, but they got all these unique names, and they're all different. I guess they're an abnormality that happened with when they were making the clones.
Yeah.
But they let them live anyway.
Which is different. And
they're a unique bunch.
That's true. Very unique.
So they go on a mission to try to find out what's going on, and in the midst of all of this, we find out that so one of the ones we thought that was alive we thought was dead is alive. So it was his name Echo? Was that the guy's name?
Yeah, Echo. Yeah.
We find out that he is still alive, and which is why they were able to figure out all the movements, because he was the one that was making up all the battle plans.
That's right.
Originally. So they were able to do that. Okay. Hold on a second. You want to continue, Captain Rickster, for a second?
All right. It was definitely really interesting on what was going on with the Clone War Techus. Actually, the first one I've ever seen. I didn't even know that they were on season 7 until now. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. They did a lot of work. I mean, they had great voices. I mean, geez, I don't even know what to say. I'm so dumbfounded right at the moment. Because I don't usually normally talk. I'm sitting in the background just looking like I'm really here sometimes. Yeah. And he does most of the talking because he knows more than I do on speech. I'm just lucky to do what I can when I'm here. Just sit in the background and be nice and quiet.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had to put you through that, guys. That was Captain Rickster.
Yeah, really.
I want to make sure I have all my information correctly, so I like to try to, that's just who I am, and I couldn't find my notes earlier, so I decided to go ahead and print them again so we could discuss it in more detail, so thank you guys for being patient with me. But basically, you have Rex and Cody and the Clone Force, the 99 group, who I mentioned has a very unorthodox style. They're the squad that they call the Bad Bunch. Because of who they are. And as I mentioned, the war's not going well. So also, this particular episode was written by Brent Friedman and Matt Mikovits. I can't pronounce that name, but
Mikovits, huh?
but Brent Friedman has written other episodes, and he's a really good writer. So basically, the Republic campaign on Anaxis is having a big bad turn for the worse, like I'd mentioned. When the Separatists capture the main production facility for the Republic's battle fleet, and you have Mace Windu and Anakin Skywalker, like I mentioned, they're at the beginning. They're debating on how they're going to proceed, and Commander Cody and Captain Rex then join them, and they're letting them know about all their losses. And their theory about the losses, they're dumbfounded, like Captain Richter was a few seconds ago,
That's definitely
and
true.
couldn't speak. Because every tactic that they do, they're able to counter it. The Separatist droid army is able to, and that's what they're called, Captain Richter, the Separatist droid army.
Yeah.
They're able to counter it, and they know what they're doing. So, and that's causing, of course, Commander Cody and Rex to try to, keep changing how they're doing their counterattacks, but it's not working. So, after Cody explains that the Separatists have figured them out, like we mentioned, Commander Rex decides that maybe we should have the 99 cloners come in. And so he proposes that they lead a squad of the 99ers behind enemy lines to steal, because they want to steal the intel. Their idea is to get behind the enemy lines to try to steal the intel to figure out why they are able to figure out all their tactics.
Right.
So they want to get behind the lines, find out why they know all this, if there's like a spy or something going on. And so that's their idea. And Mace Windu, yay! Too bad Mace Tawani wasn't in there, right, Virginia?
He wasn't born yet. Or maybe he died before that.
Wait, who knows with this Star Wars timeline? It keeps changing, right?
Oh, I know.
So Mace Windu agrees and says that they could go ahead and go on the mission. And they go and they try to get behind the enemy lines, and you really get to know this Bad Batch, like we mentioned, and they're really kind of cool. In an odd, they're not like the other clones, that are all very repetitive and all the same, and they all look the same. So this is something the show really, I wish they had it in earlier episodes, but I know they focused a lot in the other seasons on, Yoda and everything else that was going on with, Cad Bane, and the last season of Clone Wars season 6 was really good. We were rewatching some of that, Captain Richter and I, today, actually, so in case we needed to talk about that on this podcast. So,
Good old Yoda.
but by the way, Cody has never heard of the Bad Batch, even though
Really?
Captain Rex is doing it, so he's never heard of them. So, they're not the most desirable cloners, clone
Yeah,
people.
because they have their own tactics and they do their own thing.
And it's their fighting style is to go in at them.
Yep.
Not wait and try to come up with some plan to see how they're going to do it. They just jump in the fray. So
That's it. Like you're supposed to. Don't be afraid of nothing. Just go ahead and go in there and just beat them up.
yeah. So as the episode progresses, we find out that this person that they thought was dead all this time is really alive. Which is another clone commander that was under Rex. So anyway, I think this is going to be. I really enjoyed this episode. I wish it was longer, like Steve mentioned earlier.
Right.
It's my hope that the rest of them. Well, you kind of hope that they all are just as good as this one, but.
Right.
It's too bad it's not an hour. I agree with you, Steve. So basically the big discovery is that Echo is still alive, and
His voices. They don't not for sure. Maybe next episode they might find out if he really is alive or not.
well, that's true. It's a voice
It's
of
just the
Echo.
voice of
You're
Echo.
right. So they hear the voice of Echo, who they thought was long dead, who was killed in prior seasons. So, yeah, coming back to YouTube, yeah, I agree. Dave Staggs says he wishes he can't wait until they bring Asaka
Oh, yeah.
Tano back. I agree. I love Asako. Is it Asaka or Sako?
I think
Is it
Asaka.
potato or potato?
I think it's
Is it
potato.
tomato or tomato? Ay, ay, ay. These names they come up with for these shows, they're killing us. You could say it so many different ways.
That's true.
Also, I had mentioned, the writer of this episode was Brent Friedman, and another writer who I had a hard time pronouncing, but he actually did 3 other episodes
Oh, cool.
as well. So, and yeah, like I had mentioned, I thought I'd seen him before. Okay, so that's pretty much it. The big revelation at the end of the episode is that we hear the voice of Echo. So, that other person that the battle droids keep going to, that they keep showing, isn't he an interesting creature? He was going
Yes,
he's talking. These little things keep hitting. Keeps that.
Yeah.
Ugly. Do you want to collect it? If they make it?
Yeah, maybe.
Does anybody know what that was, by the way, that creature, or is that a new creature?
Looks like a
Sound
bug.
off. Let me know, YouTubers.
Looks like a bug.
It's like a little bug, but it has these weird teeth that go as it's talking.
Yeah.
I could see them making a 6-inch Black Series of that
Yeah,
if they
yeah,
haven't
yeah.
already.
Yeah, I know, huh?
Yeah, so that's the big revelation. So I guess we're gonna find out, and even that bug knows now that they're talking about that.
True.
Yeah. Oh, he was in the Clone Wars? That goes to show you I need to watch more of the episode.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's it for the Clone Wars. So the Clone Wars, Star Wars Clone Wars gets 4.75 stars.
Yes, it
And that's our all for sci-fi rating. Captain Rickster agrees with me. Miracles will never cease, Captain Rickster.
That's definitely true, especially in this podcast.
Yeah. And yes, all the YouTubers that are chatting with us, yeah, I agree with you totally. We need more. We need more. Yep. Yeah, they made 2,000 Kylo Ren
Yeah, I know.
models. Yeah, they did, didn't they? There's too much Kylo Ren. Yeah. And the one that's rare is the Asaka Tano. That one's the rare one.
That's the rest of the
You have that.
I have that
He
one.
got the. I don't even have her. So.
And I got it.
So maybe when I'm in Florida next week, maybe I could look for that.
Yeah.
I got to write that down, what number she is. Well, you'll see, though, as well.
That's true.
Yep. Okay, let's go ahead and jump right into talking about Star Trek. Now we're changing ways. See, we're not just Star Wars, we also live long and prosper.
That's true.
I tried to do that right. Live long and prosper. So we got to take down Yoda, move him over here, move him out of the way. Oh, by the way, thank you, Order 66. I'm loving my new Tauntaun. It's over here next to Captain Rickster.
That's right.
Here it is.
Leave me alone.
Dun, dun, dun. I love my new Tauntaun. I got this from Order 66 Toys, everybody.
No, he's
See?
Luke.
I need to put a Luke on there, yeah.
That's right.
Oh. They need a dark side Ray. They do have a dark side Ray in the Funko Pops. Coming back to YouTube. Let me grab that real quick. They do.
I think they're coming out in this.
Oh, you mean the Black Series too? I don't know. I didn't hear that.
I'm thinking they're probably bringing one out since they brought one out in
Oh,
Pop-Up.
Dark Side Ray. I can't get it. It's too far up. Sorry, guys. But I got Dark Side Ray, Virginia, on the Funko Pops. So.
No, not on this one. This one is a solid.
Oh, you're
piece.
talking about the Black Series. Yeah, they do need to do a Dark Side Ray. That would be with the blade too. The big double blade. That would be awesome.
Oh, no kidding. Yes.
Yeah. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. Okay, we're going to go ahead and jump right into... that was very good. Thank you, Ryland Bird. So let's go ahead and start talking about Star Trek Picard, Episode 5. It's called Stardust City Rag.
Yeah.
You know why it's called Stardust City?
No.
Rag? Because the city that they go to is called Stardust City, and on the planet Free Cloud. So we're finally going to Free Cloud, guys. And we finally get to also see a character that they've been talking about for the first 4 episodes a lot, that
Right.
Dr. Bruce Maddox. But before we jump into it, let's go ahead and give the rating for this episode of Star Trek Picard. At All for Sci-Fi, as always, our rating system is 0 to 5 stars. If it's 5 stars, it's the best. If it's 3 stars or below, you don't need to go, or you don't need to stream it, because this is on CBS All Access, so you don't need to stream it. We don't recommend it if something gets 3 stars or below. Star Trek Episode 5, I'm going to raise my rating on that. I'm going to give it 4.75 stars. I cannot give it a 5-star rating because there were some elements in it that I didn't agree upon that were kind of grossed me out. So I knocked it off, but it was a pretty good episode. Why is Star Trek doing this? Why does anybody Gene Roddenberry would never allow them to do some of the stuff that they're doing on this, on his Star Trek. In fact,
That's definitely true.
just recently, Jonathan Frakes, who directed this episode, and he directed the episode before this, he did an interview in the Hollywood Reporter, and he said that Gene Roddenberry wouldn't allow him to do this, by the way, Captain Rickster.
That's definitely true. I
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I agree with him on the rating. 4.75.
I thought it was better than the one before. The episode before was too slow.
Too slow, yes it was. This one's actually better
This
paced.
one better paced. It's getting better. It's this one, before I knew it was over.
Right.
I was starting to get into it, and then it kind of ended. Quick. Some people may not agree with me, and that's okay. That's just my opinion. There have been a few episodes that have been too slow, though. I think the second episode was the slowest for me. Was the second episode. The next episode got a little bit better, still a little slow, but this one had a little bit more pacing. I'd like to see more action, less grossness.
Yeah, that's true.
There's too much grossness. I mean, we're going to go ahead and start talking about it, so you haven't seen the episode, if you don't mind, we're going to discuss it. So if you haven't seen it, and you don't want to hear what we're going to talk about, then pause this and come back later, or watch this at a different time. The grossness when they took the eyeball out, that just grossed me out. But it also had the first Easter egg of the episode in it, because when at the very beginning they go back, here's what they do, okay? The episode starts off with another flashback. Again, I'm not a big fan of flashbacks. Really not. But I think that this flashback was necessary. And I'll tell you why. Because it had an Easter egg in it, and it introduced a longtime character that was with 7 of 9 on Star Trek Voyager. And the episode starts off, and it's 13 years instead of 14 years. The previous episodes was going back 14 years. This episode went back 13 years, and they're in the planet Vergessen in the Hypatia system. And we're learning about different systems too, so we're learning more about Star Trek lore. And they're at the 7 Dooms, and we go into the planet, we go into the 7 Dooms, and there's a doctor lady. She's in this really dimly lit medical facility, and she grabs this medical device, and this is where the grossness is. She's pulling the guy's eyeball out.
Yep.
Really gross. She cuts off the one piece of it. She looks down at him and says, where's your cortical node? So now we know that he was a Borg.
Right.
So, and then she gets ready to take out his other eye, and then 7 of 9 materializes. She starts shooting up the place. She goes after, she kills the doctor. She goes up and embraces the gentleman, and he's in a Starfleet uniform. So this person is a Starfleet officer now.
Right.
And we find out that it's Icheb.
Mm-hmm.
Icheb was like her kind of son. But he was one of the... If you remember back in Star Trek Voyager, they had all these episodes with Borg children. Icheb was the older boy. And I don't know why they didn't do this, because the actor that played Icheb is still an actor.
Right.
His name is Manu. And they recast him They have another character playing his role. They had, the guy's name was Casey King when I looked it up. At first, I thought it was the same actor. I thought it was Manu, and then I looked it up because it did look kind of like him, and it wasn't. So
well, maybe they asked him. He had a conflict with filming.
I could guarantee you, Manu, and a lot of people don't know this, but I know Manu a little bit because we had the same doctor. And I met him in my doctor's office years and years ago, and I might have his phone number still unless he's changed it. But I'd like to call him and ask him, maybe get him to do an interview on the show.
That'd be great.
Yeah. To find out why they didn't use him, but because he was doing some other work, some other Star Trek work, like he was doing some of the video games and stuff, playing that same character. Not too long ago, he was playing that same character.
Right.
Let's go back to YouTube and join the chat real quick. And see what people are saying real quick. Hold on, guys. Virginia says that the Star Trek needs to get Star Wars writers for the show.
Yeah, that's true.
I bet you a bunch of Star Trek people will be pretty mad at that. Because the Trekkies don't... They like Star Wars, but they like Star Trek being their own thing. They don't want it to be the same.
Right. That's very true.
So, when J.J. Abrams, by the way, did the Star Trek movies, a lot of Star Trek fans were in uproar, like the Star Wars fans were, with some of the changes for The Last Jedi. They didn't like what J.J. Abrams did, so they probably wouldn't agree with you.
That's true.
But
he's a good director.
Yeah, no, Jonathan Frakes is a great director. He knows how to direct Star Trek, but he's taking too many chances, and he's going in a direction that I don't think. Because to me, Star Trek, and I've said this before, guys, but Star Trek was the show that my cousin liked.
Right.
Mike's very smart, intelligent, genius. He has an IQ close to Einstein's IQ. That kind of smart cousin who's a Trekkie. That was his show because Star Trek was always supposed to be this big brain thing.
Right.
Right? So, to
true.
me, what they're doing is they're dumbing down the show.
Oh, yes.
Because Star Trek was always about technology. In fact, a lot of the technology we use today came from Star Trek.
That's
People
right.
invented it because they saw the original Star Trek in the 60s. Like, the iPad came from Star Trek. A lot of things. The cell phone came from Star Trek. Like the communicators. That's why people came up with the cell phone. A lot of things came from Star Trek. Coming back to YouTube, we're looking at some more comments. Yeah, Rylan, First Contact is a really good Star Trek movie. I agree with you. Jonathan did a great job. And it's okay. I don't blame people for taking chances. I think that's a good thing. It's a good thing to take risks, but I think you need to take it in a different way. Not like go so far in left field and say, oh, well, the kids today, they like that horror film stuff, horror movies. Let's make a Star Trek TV series that's like a horror movie, right?
Oh, don't get me started on horror movies.
Yeah. I agree with you. Back in the day, the gross outness back in the day was remember the show V?
Oh yeah, I remember V.
And had Robert Englund, who played Freddy Krueger.
Yes.
But he was one of the aliens in it, and I met Robert Englund. I have a picture of me as a boy. Right, we both won we both were up for an award, like a science fiction award.
Right.
When I did Mace and the Ewok movie, and he won for V.
Oh,
So I met him back in the day before. I think he had just did Freddy Krueger, or it came out a year after. He wasn't well known for it at that time. I should dig that picture out and post it on Facebook.
Yeah, you should.
Of us together when we were younger.
That would be awesome.
And Robert Englund lives in Woodland Hills, California.
Oh, don't tell everybody that.
Oh, okay.
That's a no-no. You don't tell where other people live.
I didn't give the address.
Thank God on that part.
Yeah.
Otherwise, all the paparazzi would be over there in a heartbeat.
Yeah, the crew. You know what? And I don't. And that's a good point. Mr. Dave Staggs on our YouTube chat was saying that he doesn't feel the crew has developed a bond like they did on the Next Generation or any of the different crews like Voyager and all that. You're right, Dave. I don't see this. This crew has not bonded. That's a good point.
Not yet. Remember, you're only in the 5th season, so I mean,
Fifth
episode.
the other show, the other show, they kind of bonded faster than that, though. I think. Well, maybe they didn't. I don't know, but
We'll see.
this also is it's not really a crew, though. It's kind of like this hodgepodge of people that were put together. The only person that's familiar that wasn't a crew was Rafi.
That's right.
Rafi was underneath Picard right when he resigned.
True.
Other than that other guy who plays Rios, he's like this guy for hire. So they're hiring his ship.
Yep.
And he's not in Starfleet any longer. And then Allison Pill is the doctor who does synthetics.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, but I agree they're not bonding, but the show is very different. It's really yeah. And you know what? That's a great idea. Dave Stagg says they should do a spinoff series with 7 of 9 doing the Ranger stuff. That would be really cool.
That would be really good. Yes.
That would be
good.
Yeah, hey, one of the bright parts of the Picard show so far is Jerry Ryan coming back as 7.
Yep.
And her acting is spot on. It's spectacular. I like what she's doing with 7 because she's different than 7 of 9 from Voyager.
That's true.
And she should grow.
Oh, good.
And but she's still 7 to me.
Mm-hmm.
And she's still that same person. And that would be great. Let's do something with the Rangers with 7 of 9. That would be great. Also, what's going on with Star Trek Discovery? Where the hell is that show at?
Yeah, it's supposed to
They
be
finally
now.
had a good season in season 2, and it's like they're like putting it on hold so they could show us this Picard stuff. But anyway, so let's talk about the discussion and breakdown and recap of the show. So they finally come to Free Cloud, and yeah, I know, Virginia, you're not a fan of Star Trek. So yeah, they're back at Free Cloud, and Rafi's character is looking to try to find a way to locate Dr. Bruce Maddox. She finds him. She's looking on these boards, and she finds where he's at, and that he's with. She's with Bejazzle, or Bejizzle, or whatever name they want to call it. Actually, I noticed that the same actor who was playing Dr. Bruce Maddox said her name 3 different ways in the same scene.
Mm-hmm.
So they made that name so hard that even the actors are not pronouncing it correctly.
That's true.
And listen to that scene when he says her name twice. He says it different ways in that same scene. So what happens is she is after we do the flashback, we come back to Free Cloud, and she does, Dave. Bejazzle looks like a young Deanna Troi, the counselor. You said that, Captain Richter.
I did say that, yeah.
She does look. She's a beautiful woman. She's on a very famous show. She's the lady that's on NCIS New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
That's that actress. She's a very beautiful girl. Nakar Zadayan is her name.
Oh,
so
okay.
she's on NCIS. Love that show too. So anyway, not to get distracted, after they do the flashback, and 7 of 9 is, by the way, she's with Ichib there. I'm going further back because we skipped some parts, and I want to go in order, guys. She's there after she destroyed it. She's there holding Ichib, and Ichib is really in bad shape because they pulled his eyeball out and they taken out different parts of his organs. Thank God we didn't see that.
That's true.
And he asked 7 to kill. Can you please put me out of my misery, type of thing.
Right.
So 7 reluctantly kills, and she says goodbye, my child. Yeah. So she did feel like a mother figure to Ichib.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we're back to Free Cloud, where we're talking about that, and we meet Mr. Vulp, who is this really ugly-looking reptilian, really ugly, and he's from the Beta Nori series, a series of aliens, and apparently who have like over 500 different senses of smells.
Yep.
So they could smell what you ate last. They could smell, when you had sex the last time, which I don't think they can.
I hope not.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all.
I don't either.
Yeah. So I don't agree with that. I thought I put that on Do Not Disturb. I guess I didn't. Sorry about that, guys. So, Mr. Vup comes up to Bejazzle and says, you know, Mr. Bruce Maddox is there. And she at first says, kill him. And then she goes, no, hold it a second. I have a new plan. So she decides not to kill him. So they have a little scene, and for the first time after all this time, them talking about Dr. Maddox, we finally see Dr. Bruce Maddox. And they, by the way, Dr. Bruce Maddox is played by a different actor as well. Dr. Maddox was in The Next Generation. He was that, if you remember the episode with Data, when they were trying to take him away and disassemble him. And so they had this trial, and Data was trying to prove that he was really a sentient being. That's the name of the episode,
Right.
Sentient Being. That's a hard word to pronounce, too.
Yes, it is.
So go look it up, because you'll see that doctor is Dr. Bruce Maddox. In the episode, the Star Trek The Next Generation episode, Sentient Being, and that actor's name is Brian Bromf, and they replaced him. So they have the actor from the HBO series Euphoria is playing this Dr. Bruce Maddox. They replaced another actor. But they're not replacing the big ones. They're not replacing Seven of Nine. They're not replacing Data. Of course, they can't replace Patrick Stewart, Picard. No. But the lower characters are replacing them, and you wonder why. You know, I think these actors are all still acting. So. The doctor is telling Bejazzle that something has happened and someone came and destroyed his lab. And he thinks it's the Tau Shiar who came there and destroyed his lab. And, yeah. So he's telling Bejazzle, I don't have a lab, I don't have your money. You know, I'm sorry, what can I do? And then the scene then goes, it flashes back up to the ship. And they're arriving at Free Cloud. And as I mentioned earlier, Rafi is trying to find out where he's at, and then Rafi finds out that Maddox is with Bejazzle and this Mr. Volp, and they're talking about how can they, break him out and save him. They're coming up with a plan for all that. In the meantime, we have a quick scene with Dr. Girardi. She's in her quarters, and she's watching like some home movies of her and him. She's hold on, guys. I gotta put the Do Not Disturb on this. This is really, really ridiculous. Maybe it's not put on. Hold on.
You're gonna find out in a minute.
I might have messed up. I messed up.
Yes, he did. I put mine on so nobody'd call me. Thank goodness.
Sorry about the interruptions, guys. Yeah, bad boy. I'm gonna have to edit all this out too. So,
Yep.
This craziness. So, we're having a scene in Dr. Girardi's. She's in her quarters and she's watching these home movies of her and Dr. Bruce Maddox, and he's making chocolate chip cookies.
Yes.
And she says, "Why don't you just replicate them?" And he says, "No, there's nothing like a real chocolate chip cookie and real baking." I couldn't agree more.
That's definitely true.
And it was making me hungry. It was making me want a chocolate chip cookie. So, what?
And he bought some.
No, I didn't buy any. But, so what happens is she finishes, she's watching it, and then you see them kiss. So here's some intrigue going on here. So apparently, Dr. Girardi, even though they're colleagues, and they're both, there must be lovers.
Mm-hmm. Must be.
Because they kissed a few times. It was kind of very passionate kissing.
Mm-hmm. And
then she turns off the home movie and she has a tear rolling down her eye. Like, oh, it was a sad little moment. But there's more twist to come from that in the end. So it goes from that to you see Rafi is going to beam down to Free Cloud, and we know we also find out why Rafi wanted to go to Free Cloud and agreed to go with Picard. It was for herself, like she said, and she's trying to meet up with her son, who is on Free Cloud. Her son Gabriel.
Yep.
So so she beams down, and she has a scene with Gabriel, and her son does not like her.
At all.
Bad relationship this mom has with her son.
Yep.
And they're at some sort of a reproductive fertility clinic.
Yep.
And I don't know if he's a doctor there or they're getting treatments. They didn't say.
No.
So they have a quick little scene. Rafi has a scene with her son, and she tells her son, "I'm clean." So apparently she had some huge drug problem.
Or, yeah, some kind of a problem.
Well, you kind of see it a little bit because she was in one of the other episodes. She kept smoking this vaping with his vape pen. So maybe she was addicted to some sort of drugs. And in this scene, you find out that Rafi was like an absent mother. She wasn't there. She was a terrible wife to his dad as well. And apparently they all thought she went crazy after what happened with the synthetics on Mars, because Rafi kept, and when she got fired from the CO and after Picard resigned, they thought she went crazy because she kept going on and on about how there was this big conspiracy going on. She thought that Starfleet was behind the Mars attacks and all the synthetics attacking. And she might be right, though.
Yeah, right.
We still haven't found out yet.
It looks like it's heading towards that way, though.
Yeah, it's looking towards that way, and because she vigorously defended that when he brought that up, she said no, there was a conspiracy coming. You know, she vigorously defended it. And when Rafi says something, she's telling the truth. That's the one thing about her character. You know, she's a straight shooter, like Captain Rickster here.
Straight shooter.
Straight shooter. I don't know about all that, but I know he's an honest guy.
Thank you.
So, they end up, and then his wife comes out, who's a Vulcan. So Gabriel's her son, Rafi's son, is, and she's pregnant. So maybe they were there for that. So
she was very big too.
Yeah. So and she finds out that she's going to have a granddaughter. They're going to have a daughter. But anyway, he's still cold with her and says she's going. She just came by to say hi and she's leaving. Goodbye. So she leaves, licks her wounds and goes back up to the ship. In the meantime, they come up with this whole plan. They were coming up with this whole plan to, try to pretend like they have something to offer, because 7 of 9 mentions that Bejazzle trades in Borg parts, because that's what she was doing when she saved Egypt.
Right.
So she knows that 7 knows that she's very valuable to Bejazzle because she has a lot of Borg implants. So the idea is to have someone offer to sell 7 of 9 because she has all these Borg implants. So Rios is going to beam down and be a tracer for them to set up this cell. Picard gets in his disguise and he's going to speak with his French accent. Mm-hmm. Even though he's from France, he always spoke with an English accent.
That's true.
But now he's suddenly going to have his native French accent. And he does a very bad French accent, and he's doing it on purpose. But
that's true. Very true.
So the Rios beams down, meets first, goes to the bartender, says he wants to meet with Mr. Volp, and of course Mr. Volp's already there behind him. He smells him.
Oh, yes.
And he's checking out to make sure and they actually give Rios a shot so that Mr. Volp can't sense what's going on.
Yeah, his fear and his lie.
Right. What did I do? Let's go back to Facebook Live and see if what I messed up. Hold on. Oh, that's true. You're right. She couldn't find his cortical node because, yeah, that's right. You're right. Thinking about that, on Voyager, an original series, it was removed.
That's true.
That's why she couldn't find it. Yep, I did miss that, but I thought everybody had seen that on Star Trek Voyager, so I could have mentioned it. But thank you, Dave, for... Yeah, the reason why she couldn't find E-Chip's cortical node and she was tearing them apart was because it was already removed back in the day on Voyager. Thank you for bringing that up. And you're right, I did miss that, but I didn't also think that... I probably should have said it, but thank you, Dave, for bringing that up. So, okay, so Rios is going back to where... Rios is with Mr. Volp. He is showing Mr. Volp 7 of 9, and he's looking at 7 of 9's schematics and how many different Borg parts she has, and he's going on and on about wow, she has all these different things. She's still living. She has all these working Borg parts. She's worth a fortune. So Picard and then go ahead and beam down with Eleanor, his protector, who by the way is the only one who's sane in the show.
That's definitely
and
true.
He's never trying to pretend to be someone else.
That's true.
And he makes a comment like that, I'm the only one that's just going to be me and be quiet. So when they get down there, of course, Picard's given that weird accent. And what we find out is when they come together and B'Chazel and Seven are there, the gig is up. Seven didn't tell them that B'Chazel and Seven know each other. They were working together at one point. So they know each other. Wow. So Picard and Rios and all of them are taken off guard. And Seven wants to, the reason why she wanted to do this was because she wants to wring her neck and kill her after what you did with Egypt. And Rios stops Seven by saying, look, if you do this right now, Picard and everybody's going to have this huge bounty over their head and they're never going to be free, and what are you doing? And so they ended up working out a trade where they could take Dr. Bruce Maddox and leave, and she doesn't kill, so she won't kill B'Chazel. And so they beam back up they do have Dr. Bruce Maddox. He's in really bad shape too because they were roughing him up. So they take him to the infirmary. They're trying to make him better. Picard is asking. He doesn't know about Sochi. He just thinks he knows about her. So he's asking, is it true? Did you make another one other than just Daj? Does she have a twin? And Dr. Bruce Maddox confirms that there was a twin. Picard asks where the twin is, and he tells Picard that she has a twin sister whose name is Sochi, and she's on the artifact. So, which is in Romulan space.
Right.
So now Picard has to go and tell Rios that they have to go to help save Sochi. Now their mission is to go to the artifact and Romulan space. And of course, Rios, the only thing he's thinking about is money. So he says he's gonna have to double his fee.
Yep.
Which is the way it is. And then after that, we have this scene where we're at the end, and Dr. Girardi, Agnes Girardi, is there with her lover, Dr. Bruce Maddox, and he's telling her about how it worked. All the ideas that we had about synthetics worked. You should have seen them. They're so beautiful. Daj was beautiful. Sochi's beautiful. He's telling Dr. Girardi that all her ideas worked, and everything they did is wonderful. And she's all tearing up and stuff. And then suddenly she says to him, I wish they hadn't shown me what they shown me about you. And guess what she's doing? The biggest twist of this episode. She kills Dr. Bruce Maddox.
Yeah.
And she keeps telling him, she's tearing up because she's killing her lover. She's saying, I wish they didn't show me what they showed me about you. So it's making me wonder, what the heck did they do? And
really,
Dr. Girardi, the who's afraid of her own shadow and using a phaser against a Romulan from the Tal Shiar, who she was upset that she killed him. She's scared of her own shadow, yet she's now suddenly this badass, and this is crazy, man.
Yeah. What a change of pace.
For that character.
No kidding.
Who would have thought that Doctor? But there you go. That's the way it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's crazy. Hold on, guys. So, yeah. That's it's set on sorry about that, guys. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. That's my wife, who's the only one that's allowed to call on Do Not Disturb.
Yes.
So just in case there's an emergency, I'm going to have to take her off the favorite so she can't call as well. Better not do that.
No, won't be a good idea.
Yeah. But that's it, and then the episode ends, and then we see what's coming up, guys. We see that the next episode, Picard's going to go to the artifact and get in Romulan space. We think.
Yes.
We don't know this, but it said coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a quick shot of Picard as I don't know if it's going to be a flashback again, but we see Picard as a Borg again. Is he going to be a Borg again, or is it going to be a flashback? Who knows?
We'll see.
We'll see on episode 6, which is coming out this Thursday.
That's right.
So that's it. That's it for this week's show. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you guys all coming on the show. Remember, again, this next Saturday, we're going to be doing our live trivia game and live contest at Pensacon, which is a convention in Pensacola, Florida. We're going to be walking around the floor, so we'll let you see that great convention. We'll see how they do it in Florida. And we'll do a trivia game there, and you'll still get a prize from Galaxy's Edge. And we'll be doing a Sunday. We'll also do our reviews for whatever sci-fi shows are out that week. We'll have another Clone Wars. War. We'll have another Clone Wars.
Yeah.
We'll also have another Picard, and maybe what else is going on. There are some new sci-fi shows that are coming out in the next few weeks as well. We got Bloodshot coming out, I think, in a few weeks, and a couple other ones, so we will be reviewing those. In case you want to know, on our allforsci-fi.com, the homepage, if you scroll down on the post, you'll see we have a movie guide for 2020. So if you're wondering what movies that are still coming out in 2020, sci-fi movies, it's a movie guide, not TV shows.
Right.
Scroll down a little bit on the homepage, which is the blog part of the page, and you'll see a couple. Near the beginning of January, I posted our 2020 movie guide. It said Bloodshot was coming out at the end of February, but it's actually, they moved it. It's coming out in March.
Yes.
And there's also a Vin Diesel. There's also something else coming out. There's a couple of ones coming out like that. So anyway, that's all that's coming out. And go see Call of the Wild, which is a Harrison Ford movie. It's not sci-fi, so we won't be reviewing it. But he was part of Star Wars. Go see that. I, on the other hand, am going to wait until it comes out on streaming or DVD because it has. I'm a little upset because I heard that the dog is all CGI in the entire piece, and a lot of the animals are all CGI, and it looked so fake. The dog looked so fake, Captain Rickster.
That's true. Yes,
it really turned me off seeing a dog. I mean, we have plenty of dogs that they could use that are well trained.
Oh, of course, yes.
So, yeah, that's it. So we'll see you guys. And remember, guys, this week we always leave our podcast and end our show saying, do an act of kindness for somebody. Make this world a better place if you can, like they say in that song. I know it sounds so corny.
Yes.
But that's from my heart. And like my dad always told me, just be a nice guy. And I try, Dad, even though I fall short. But be nice to somebody this week. Stay blessed. May the Force be with all of you. Live long and prosper. You want to say goodbye?
Yes, I will. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great week. Stay safe. Stay out of the bad weather if there's any around.
Yep.
And have a good weekend when it comes up. And we'll see you on Saturday.
We'll see you guys from Pensacon. We might do on Friday. Stay tuned, and we'll make announcements on all the social media accounts. But on Friday, we may still do a live walkthrough.
Right.
If we can, if there's time, we'll still do a live walkthrough to let you guys see what the show looks like on Friday.
Yes.
That's it for now. I'm Eric Walker.
And I'm Captain Rickster. Have a great week.
Bye-bye, everybody.